Hi, I'm Ryan Oman.
And I'm Nicole Oman.
And together we are
the Empowering Omens
with the Golden Collective.
And today is Insightful Saturday, where we are connected to our third eye chakra.
Also known as Ajna, which is the Sanskrit word for infinite power. Because there's infinite power in your subconscious, and that's essentially what we're dealing with here.
Totally. It's like the vastness of the ocean.
Yes.
And with the ocean, I always connect water and creativity together. And so they're very watery. The two cards we have today are receptivity with this third eye. So it's really opening up to vision and seeing things in a different perspective. When we receive information, the brain, the conscious mind, or even our physical brain, likes to compartmentalize, especially in the masculine sense.
What? Yeah, we actually worked with a therapist one time, and she gave us a really cool analogy that we absolutely love.
Totally.
It's that men, their brains are like waffles. They have little compartments, right? We're waffle brained. And women's brains are like spaghetti. Everything is connected and mixed together. If you want to know more about this and learn directly from us in person, we actually have a workshop coming up at the beginning of August. It'll be August 8th through the 11th, and it's going to be in Traverse City, Michigan. And we're going to be working on communication and authenticity. So we will definitely be talking about waffle and spaghetti brains.
Well, and it's going to be a lot of men and women. It's going to be the masculine. And we really want to learn. If you want to come as a couple, you can do this too. We have a couple couples coming. Couple. But we have some couples because we want to really learn how to communicate with each other and realize that men and women do process information and communicate in a different sense.
Yeah, it's not exclusively with couples though. If you have like a partner you want to bring, great. If you have a friend or a family member you want to bring, that's also great. You can also come by yourself. We will partner you up with somebody, or you partner up with us. You know, it's going to be a group effort. It's going to be.
We're in the trenches.
It's going to be yes, we will. We've never hosted a workshop that we wouldn't end up processing as well in the course of the workshop.
Well, but
this is going to be a very small workshop. We're capping it at 12 people. So if you're on the fence, jump off that fence quickly because it will fill up soon.
Yeah, it's starting to. So back to this. So men process things in waffle brain type of things where we compartmentalize. And women like to kind of, everything's kind of connected, which is cool, but sometimes we get a little lost. And so as we're opening up to receiving information, receiving other people's opinions, receiving the experiences of our life, are we compartmentalizing something and making it feel suppressive? Are we going into reaction? Or are we going into something a little more helpful, which is our infinite power
of creativity,
the right side and the left side of the brain.
Right, and remember this week we're focusing on trust. So what we're asking you to do is trust the inspiration. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it doesn't feel right, trust that it's going to create something for you. Allow it to come in and then digest it. And it doesn't mean just blindly take whatever information comes popping into your head. By no means. But what it means is that it might not be exactly what you think it is. And I'll give you a perfect example. This week, I was feeling really, really down. I had a day where I just felt like a bump on a log. I sat down, I watched a movie, and just hung out with my kids. I got nothing accomplished. And I tend to fall into a feeling of like resentment for myself. I get into a lot of like self-doubt and self-deprecation when I have days like that because I feel like I should be doing something. But I think that's because we think of things linearly. We think, okay, I have to do a little something every day or a certain amount of things every day in order to get to where I want to go. That's not how we work. If you really take an honest look at your life, how often is that actually played out in such an incremental way? Usually you get a big burst of inspiration, you go until that burst falls away, and then you deal with this like, oh, I got nothing going on thing. And then you feel bad about it.
The letdown.
What I'm asking you to do, or what we're asking you to do, is let that go. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to have a day where you're not inspired. But then when you have the perspective that could be inspiration in and of itself, just by realizing that that's part of the process. Part of the process is having those dips, having those valleys, because that's where you gain perspective. You may not take the time to think of things.
And the lows.
Right. If you don't embrace the lows, how are you going to have the energy in the highs, right? You need to be able to exhale as well as inhale.
You know what? And that also brings up something that happened to me. this week too. So this whole thing that we're talking about is anything that's happening in your life. How can this inspire you to have new perspective, to open your mind, to open your heart, and to open your life to seeing things in a different way? That's what this whole third eye is really seeing things in a different way. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and I see this with a lot of spiritual men, is when they deal with emotion, they
I don't like that compartment.
I don't like that one.
No,
I gotta reject it.
There's no syrup going in that compartment.
So instead of rejecting it, they become ultra zen and they rise above the emotion, but they won't go into the valleys of life. And what begins to happen if you are allowing yourself to reject the low, they call it, what are they
lower vibrational,
the lower vibrational emotions.
And that is kind of true. That vibrations, there are low vibrations, and there's high vibrations. Yeah. But it's not a value equation. It's not low is a less value than high. That's ridiculous. It's just different. It's contrast.
It's a different color. It's a different flavor. It's a different experience. And if we're not going into those lower states, what begins to happen is we don't trust life and we don't start living life.
We detach.
Yes,
it's all about detachment. And you see that a lot, especially in the spiritual community. You see a lot of detachment. People don't want to deal with those difficult emotions. And the fact of the matter is,
messy with life.
Well, they don't want to be triggered. And the fact of the matter is,
trust the trigger
can be the inspiration you've been waiting for.
Yes.
Remember, you can't get angry about something you don't care about. If you don't care about it, have you ever been angry about something you didn't care about? Do you ever feel passionate about something you didn't care about? No. So anger is a form of passion. And if it's directed, it's incredibly powerful. So allow yourself to be triggered and you can have some amazing inspiration from that.
Anger plus love equals passion. So trust the trigger is kind of where I was going when you were talking. I was like, it's trust the trigger.
Trust it.
So today it's like receiving what life is offering you. Everything around you is here for you to be inspired by, even if it's someone who pisses you off. Because what happens is when you get pissed off at first, it can set you free. If you allow it to, and you become softer in the mind and allow it to bring in inspiration. Someone who pisses you off may inspire you to create a company, create a product that solves that problem. Know that the contrast, going back to that heart chakra day, that contrast can be the very inspiration you're looking for. And it might not look like the light bulb that's like, it might look like the light bulb that shatters at your feet.
Or the light bulb you can't get to work. I can't get the stupid light bulb to work. You know, I had a great vision of when Nikki was talking about the ocean analogy. Think of it like a surfer. If you've ever seen a surfer, if you've ever been surfing, so a lot of time of surfing is sitting. It's sitting there waiting for inspiration to come, waiting for a wave to come, right? And so if you're sitting there waiting for a wave to come and a wave finally comes, but you judge that wave as not good enough, you might miss the entire set and then you just end up sitting there again. So sometimes you might not ride the wave you think is going to be the best wave, but if you just get on that board and trust the process, you may be surprised.
Trust your triggers. Trust, allow your consciousness, allow your mind to soften and allow you to see things, get out of the compartments and start to see things in different perspective. That's the very creative nature you're looking for. Get creative with what arises. So as we go into the bowls, we want to open that up. There's a lot of people that I hear when I'm working with them and they want to get into their psychic abilities. And they're like, I don't see things. And it's like, why are we shutting it off? Are we not allowing ourselves to see things in a different way?
Right.
Maybe we're so used to living things as tangible that we're not allowing ourselves to open up to our imagination.
Yes, and so that's a great place to start is with imagination, because imagination can turn into inspiration if you really trust the process. So even a lot of times when you're getting into one of these meditations, we give you something visual to focus on. You might be like, well, I don't see that. And it's like, well, don't see it. Don't expect it to be seen. See it yourself. Create it in your brain. Create it just like you would a picture, or if you were drawing, or if you were painting, or if you were taking a picture of something. Make it in your head first, and then allow yourself to experience it. Essentially, what you're doing is you're creating a setting for your experience. So it's like you're manufacturing your own dream. You're giving yourself your own version of inception. So as we get into the meditation today, I want to go along with this watery, this
I like the water thing.
Yeah,
today.
this ocean concept. So I want you to imagine that you're on an ocean and you're a surfer. And maybe you've been surfing, maybe you haven't, but I guarantee you've seen a surfer before. You kind of get the basic idea. You're sitting on your surfboard, you're waiting for the wave to come in. So I want you to breathe in, and that's essentially you pulling the wave from the ocean to you. You're pulling the wave in. You're bringing in that beautiful
You're trusting the waves too.
Then as you hold your breath, that wave starts to gather underneath you, and that's when you have to start paddling. You start to paddle into the wave, and then as we exhale, that's dropping in. You drop into the wave, and you ride it as long as you can, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in that set. We're going to hold the breath, feel that weight, feel the power of the ocean gathering beneath us, and then quickly drop in to that beautiful wave.
Perfect. Trust the waves. Trust the triggers. Trust what's happening in your world today. Notice if you can take on that information in a different way and create beauty from whatever arises. And once one wave is done, you can paddle out to the ocean to receive another. It is so. It is so. It is so. It is so. You know, it's interesting. A visual I got for that is exactly what you said in your story. It's like you rode a wave the day before, and then when you got to that place of needing to just hang out, watch movies, it was almost like that was you paddling back out to wait for another wave to come in.
It wasn't even me paddling out. It was me sitting on the beach listening to tunes. Like, I wasn't even ready to get back in the ocean yet. But had I not taken that time
you wouldn't have the energy.
Absorb the sun, listen to some tunes, maybe eat some food, and just totally chill out, man, like on the beach, then like I couldn't just get back on my board and have the energy to catch the next wave, you know what I'm saying?
And sometimes we need to get on the beach a little bit and find our solid ground before we want to.
Some people say life is a beach.
That is true.
Guys, we really appreciate you watching. Please continue to do so. Share, like, comment. Remember to click the little notification button so that when we post, you know it. And also
make that ding. Oh, they're here to support me today.
That's right. Imagine the bowl ringing every time you hear the bell. Also, guys, if you want to get a little deeper, pun intended, go and check out the Golden Collective. We've got a week free trial. You can go check it out for a week and see if you vibe with our vibes.
And see if you get inspired by us and our people, because they are totally inspiring. And one of the main things, are you making fun of me?
I wasn't doing anything. I was just admiring that very interesting accent you were putting on that didn't seem to have any location. I could.
It's Nikki's. It's my own universe planet thing.
Oh my gosh.
So, one of the things that is really huge for me is this idea of living life very creatively, and so that's what the container is. Get creative with us. There is no right or wrong. It's just about learning how to live our lives in a creative fashion. So join us, see if that's what you'd like to do. And if you'd like to come to our workshop with us, we'll have a link where you can purchase that and come and play with us and get creative in your own expression. Great to see you tomorrow. We will be on my Facebook page and here on YouTube doing Spirit Sunday.
Oh yeah, so we made it to the top of the ladder, y'all. It's time to slide. Whee! All the way back down into next week.
And we'll see what next week has in store for us. Wow. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.
Namaste tuned, y'all.